take you to some of the areas that have been on the watchful eye for this storm over the last couple of days or so. Central Plains have been one of those places that we need to watch. So here's what we know at this hour. This monster storm, well, it stretches more than 2,000 miles, and it's set to threaten more than 35 states. Ice and snow, they may cripple travel. We have widespread snow from the plains all the way out to the mid-Atlantic, and eventually even into the Northeast. Now, we also have to watch for the power outages. That's going to be a growing concern in real time as the storm gets underway. We're watching closely because this is such a massive storm that can impact so many different people in so many different ways. We've almost categorized it in chapters because really things start off into the latter half of our Thursday going into Friday across the South. The Central Plains are going to feel that burn too with this low pressure system that's going to ride out of the southwest, push into the atmospheric conditions that may lead to some freezing ice for areas like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, back towards, say, Tennessee. We have winter storm watches. They're up across the board right now, primarily well into the end of the weekend. This really doesn't get started until about Friday, but the cold air really initiates the start of this storm, and that happens into tomorrow. So when we look at how things are going to play out, if you're along, say, the I-40 corridor, I-70 corridor, you're likely seeing snow and heavy snow at that. If you're a little bit farther to the south, say an area like Dallas or across parts of Texas, I think you have a better chance of seeing light snow met with more heavier ice. That's going to be the case in an area like Dallas or, say, Wichita Falls, where sleet is going to set up shop. Freezing rain is going to be a big issue. Texas is on board with this. Fox Weather actually spoke earlier with the emergency management coordinator in Waco, Texas, on what they're doing to avoid any major disasters. Take a listen.
Well, we've taken great care in the lead up to the storm to make sure that we are coordinating both with City of Waco and McLennan County partners, along with people out in the private sector and also our NGO partners, to make sure that we are as prepared as we can be, that we've moved resources into place, that we have taken preparatory actions on buildings, on infrastructure. We want to make absolutely certain that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're as prepared as we can be before the weather sets in.
And it's only right. I mean, we've seen this kind of play out in the past. We have winter weather alerts, extreme cold watches that are in place, too, through the end of the weekend. Because not only do we see that ice kind of set up, that freezing rain set the stage for crippling ice, but then we have temperatures that really stick around below freezing through the end of the weekend, behind this, if you will, going into Sunday. These are a look at some of the differences in temperatures compared to our highs and where we should be for this time of the year. A lot of places topping out in the mid-20s, mid-30s, well below where they typically would be for this time of the year. Now, I want to head to chapter 2 of all of this. That's the southeast that gets in on some of these impacts as we get into the latter half of the weekend. We have crippling ice as a big concern. South Carolina has already declared a state of emergency for this winter storm. So everyone is getting prepared days in advance for the impacts that are set to move through. This is all in part to that high pressure system that's just cranking out Arctic air from the north. That is setting the stage for areas across the south, the southern plains, to continuously see an opportunity for freezing rain rather than all snow. We have a little bit of warmth that's overriding this cold air. So in those areas that actually see the cold air maybe at the surface, but warmer air aloft, we see significant freezing rain as a result. And that's what leads to ice as all that cold air freezes over that freezing rain. This is a look at the forecast for the southeast. Notice that temperatures are in the 20s, maybe mid-30s, some areas even like Charleston in the 40s at the surface. But what that means is that there's this increasing opportunity for significant ice because those temperatures at the surface are at the freezing mark, but you head up a little bit higher in elevation. We have that warm air aloft that's overriding the cold air. So that means a part of your atmosphere actually maybe melts any type of snowflake that maybe forms here. It's rain here, and then that freezing rain at the surface. So we see that happening in our temperature profile. And that's what makes this a very tricky forecast, but also a very tricky scenario for folks that live across the southeast. There's two parts that we're watching where we could see the thickest ice accretion. That's back across, say, the Arklatex moving into northern Mississippi, but also across the Carolinas as well. We have Raleigh, the I-95 corridor, the I-40 corridor, Charlotte, down to about Atlanta, that could see some really thick ice out of this, and that could lead to some power outages. You put it all together, it may start as rain at the surface where temperatures are still a bit warm into Friday evening. Cold air comes crashing in, working in tandem with the precip that's working in from the west, and that's going to lead to that freezing rain in most areas that are highlighted in that pink actually leading to some ice when all is said and done. All right, we're on the last stop. This is the Mid-Atlantic, but this actually is a very crucial part of the story, too. Washington, D.C., New York City, both areas have a good chance of seeing the biggest snowstorm in years for folks along the I-95 corridor. It has been a while since we've seen, say, totals like this playing out across parts of the region. The reason being is that we still have this cold air in place. Here's some of the key questions that we're still watching with this overall winter storm setup. One of which is how north does this south disturbance get, and does a new coastal low form? Those two are going to be equally as important in this part of the story. We have two areas or two, say, pulses of energy that we're watching. They get caught up in the jet stream. They become one stronger pulse, and as it pulls across parts of the northeast, we have a good chance of seeing some heavier snow right along the I-95 corridor. These totals have been increasing. We have been watching things play out with our models time in and time out as the runs are coming through. The uncertainty really lies in that low pressure system that we were watching. If we look at this one here, this is a look at the snow forecast compared to who sees the greatest snow. There's a good opportunity that parts of the I-95 corridor and even parts of, say, New England could see several inches, if not feet, of snow. Anywhere that you see that darker shading of purple, that's elevation based, except for New Jersey. But there's more than 10 states that could expect a foot of some snow. That being said, we have a couple of watches that are in place for those areas that may see it first: Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky. This is where we could see the storm kind of emerging late Saturday into early Sunday, and then through the day on Sunday, likely into Monday as well. It's been a while since we've seen this. It's been a while since we've worked on a storm like this. So if you're in Boston, the last time you've seen at least a foot of snow, you have to take it back to 2022. Washington, D.C. actually is coming up on a decade, almost year to date, of seeing at least 17 inches of snow. So that's a huge, thing to kind of wrap your mind around. It's been a while in an area like D.C. Boston, not so much a couple of years ago. But here's how things likely will play out. We watch this low ride up really close to the East Coast. That allows for snow to really stick around most of Saturday evening into Sunday, more so Sunday. I think Sunday is going to be a big snow day heading into early Monday. Notice that by the time we get into Monday evening, this does try to clear out across the region. We'll watch it closely, kind of fine tune those totals for us here in the Northeast.